Water. It covers something like 70% of our planet. And, as it turns out, it makes up most of us, too. But if we're basically just walking, talking bags of water, why do we have to drink it all the time? What would actually happen if you just stopped? Come on, let's dive in.
So, what's the big deal with water? Well, to really get it, we've got to start with a pretty surprising fact about what you and I are actually made of.
Okay, get this. The moment you're born, your body is about 75% water. That's a massive percentage. In fact, it makes a newborn baby's makeup shockingly similar to a fish. Yeah, a fish.
But that number doesn't stay quite so high for long. By the time that baby hits their first birthday, their water composition has already dropped down to about 65%.
And for most of us, as adults, that number settles in somewhere between 55 and 60%. Now, sure, it can change a bit based on your age, sex, and body composition, but the main point is this. You are mostly H2O.
So that brings us right back to the big question, right? If we're already so full of the stuff, why is it so incredibly important to keep drinking more day in and day out? Well, the answer is all about the unbelievable amount of work that water is doing inside you, like right now.
Just think of water as the ultimate multitasker for your body. I mean, it's the real unsung hero running your entire internal plumbing system, making sure everything is flowing just the way it should be.
See, water isn't just hanging out in your body. It is constantly working. It's cushioning and lubricating your joints, it's regulating your body temperature when you sweat, and it's nourishing and protecting your brain and spinal cord like a natural little shock absorber. And you'll find water in some pretty unexpected places. Your lungs, they're about 83% water, which is pretty similar to an apple. Your brain and your heart are almost 3/4 water, not unlike a banana. And get this, even your bones, which seem so solid, are still 31% water.
But here's the catch. Our bodies are constantly losing this vital fluid. Every single day, you lose somewhere between 2 and 3 liters of water just through basic stuff, like sweating, going to the bathroom, and even just breathing. So to keep all your internal systems running, you got to replace what you lose.
And this constant need to top up our water supply, well, it creates a really delicate balancing act. And if you get it wrong, in either direction, it can have some pretty serious consequences for your health.
So on one side of the scale, you've got dehydration. This is what happens when you lose more fluid than you take in. And the immediate effects? They're usually pretty noticeable. Your energy just tanks, your mood can get kind of sour, and your thinking gets foggy. A dehydrated brain literally has to work harder just to do its normal job.
But your body has this really clever way of fighting back. When a part of your brain called the hypothalamus senses that water levels are low, it releases a chemical called antidiuretic hormone. This basically sends a message to your kidneys telling them to hold on to more water. And that's why your urine gets darker when you're dehydrated. It's your body's emergency conservation system kicking in. Okay, so not drinking enough is clearly a bad thing. We get that. But what about the opposite? Is it actually possible to drink too much water? The answer, and this might surprise you, is a definite yes.
This is a condition called overhydration, or hyponatremia. It happens when you drink so much water in a short period that you actually dilute the sodium electrolytes in your blood. These electrolytes are crucial minerals for managing your body's fluid balance. So when they get watered down, your cells start to swell up. Athletes, who often chug huge amounts of water, can be at a higher risk for this.
So you've got these two extremes, right? With dehydration, your brain goes into overdrive, pumping out hormones to save water, and your brain tissue can even shrink a little. But with overhydration, the exact opposite happens. Hormone production stops, and your cells, including brain cells, swell up. Both are super dangerous because they mess with that critical balance.
So if balance is everything, how in the world do we get it right? Well, to answer that, we need to forget some of the old myths we've all heard and look at what the modern science of hydration tells us.
I mean, we've all heard this one, right? The classic 8 glasses a day rule. For the longest time, that was the go-to advice. But, science has given us a much clearer, more personal picture now.
Today, the general thinking is that your needs are pretty personal. On average, the recommendation is between 2.5 and 3.7 liters a day for men, and around 2 to 2.7 liters for women. But that's really just a starting point. Your ideal amount is going to change based on your health, how active you are, and even the climate where you live. And here's something else that's pretty cool to keep in mind. You don't have to get all your water from a glass. About 1/5 of our daily water intake actually comes from the food we eat. Things like strawberries, cucumbers, and even broccoli are over 90% water. So they're a great way to sneak in some extra hydration.
Staying hydrated isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It's really an investment in your long-term health, and the payoff is absolutely huge.
In fact, studies have shown that getting your hydration right can actually lower your chance of having a stroke, help you manage diabetes, and might even reduce the risk of certain types of cancer. Getting the right amount of fluid really does make a world of difference.
So after all this, after seeing how water literally powers everything from your brain to your bones, the question isn't just about how much you should drink. It's really, are you giving your body the most essential fuel it needs to function at its absolute best? Definitely something to think about the next time you reach for a glass of water.